However, when I started trading live, there was a big difference. The trader at this time had committed backtesting and the numbers looked promising. And it reminded me of a story that I had when I created a strategy on the range bar chart, right? It was a very simple strategy. It was on a low range bar chart for day trading, and it had a high frequency of trade signal. And I did all the back testing, and I did, it looked good and everything like that. It showed promise. The hypothesis was proven correct. However, when I started trading live, there was a big difference. And the big difference was that, well, in back testing, I can sit here, I can stare at a candle, I can have the perfect entry, I can have the perfect exit. There's no slippage or anything like that. I get in at the perfect deal. And with this strategy, specifically, the margin for error was really, really small. It was more of kind of a frequency strategy. So it was a 1-to-1 risk. But the profit or the win percentage was, I think, like 60%. So 6 wins out of every 10 trades. So that it was based on just like, not a big risk reward, but based on just like win, 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 win. The problem when I traded it live was that, well, because of the speed of that time frame, the lower time frame, my entries were often a little bit late. I mean, I didn't get in at that perfect area. Rather, I would get in a little bit higher than I planned, which would take my risk reward from being 1-to-1 to negative, which when you have a negative risk reward, and hopefully in editing, I'll show you kind of the matrix spreadsheet that shows us risk reward. If I have a negative risk reward with a 60% win rate, after you take spreads and commissions out of the way, it's pretty much break even at best. So I learned from that there's a difference between back testing and live trading, specifically when it goes to those lower high frequency time frame. And that's what I told the trader. I said, just be careful of that. So he came back to me after kind of going back into the lab and doing his homework, and he told me this.